Double entry bookkeeping requires writing up the accounts of assets, liabilities and capital. If we see an asset account, as here, this side is always the debit, this side is always the credit. Every time an asset increases, we debit the account. Every time an asset decreases, we credit the account. For instance, if I buy a vehicle by cheque, the asset of vehicle increases. We debit vehicles account. The bank has decreased. Asset of bank decreases, credit. In that instance, buying a vehicle and paying by cheque, we would debit the vehicle and credit the bank. A liability account is the opposite to an asset. An asset is what we own. A liability account is what we owe. Therefore, every time a liability increases, we credit the account. Every time a liability decreases, we debit the account. For instance, if I buy a vehicle on credit from Phillips Garage, vehicle is an asset. The vehicle increases, debit the vehicles. But if I buy on credit, suddenly I owe and my liability has increased. Therefore, buying a vehicle on credit from Phillips Garage, debit the vehicle account, credit Phillips Garage. Liability has increased, we owe. Capital is our last account. Because it is what we owe the owner, then capital account works the same way as a liability account. For instance, if the owner puts £100 into the bank, the asset of bank has increased. We would debit the bank. However, the owner has put the money into the business. The business owes the owner more than it did yesterday. The capital has increased. Credit the capital. When the owner puts money into the business by cheque or into the bank, debit the bank, credit the capital. Always use your tables and work out whether the asset is increasing or decreasing. Work out whether you have a liability and is it decreasing or increasing. Work out if you have capital and say if it is decreasing or increasing. The table, therefore, will tell you whether to debit or credit. Practice makes perfect.